I call Joe White to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr Pritchard. I want to begin by thanking Minister McCarthy for meeting me last week on this priority issue. When I stood to be the Member of Parliament for Bassetlaw, my commitment to my constituents was to work with others to raise aspirations and to gain new opportunities for our young people, to ensure that they no longer have to choose to move away if they want to get a highly skilled job or one that gives them a strong financial future. The STEP Fusion programme provides this opportunity, and it's my responsibility to do whatever it takes to support the process and ensure a strong economic future for an area that is now consistently described as post-industrial. Bassetlaw first made international history when the Mayflower Pilgrims set foot on the Plymouth Rock and signed what became the American Constitution. 400 years on, Bassetlaw is going to make headlines again after the UK AEA determined that West Burton, a coal-burning power station currently being decommissioned, will be the site for the first fusion energy prototype plant. This historical decision very much aligns with Bassetlaw's coal mining heritage. We had 7 pits producing coal, taken by local train drivers to the power stations including Cottam and West Burton and High Marnham, built alongside the River Trent. We had a workforce proudly geared towards powering the country. A heritage in decline, but now providing new opportunities for green energy production. Good local infrastructure with railway lines holding the potential to be the preferred route onto the site for goods, construction traffic and workers. Existent licences for water extraction on the River Trent, and most significantly, the connection to the national grid were core factors in the decision-making process for the preferred site. Even more important is the local public support for a fusion plant. Consultant events were run by the local ward councillor, now the Member of Parliament for Rushcliffe, when we were told in the no-nonsense way of North Nottinghamshire that it's common sense to retain an energy generation site for future green energy production. And the public went further, calling for the other decommissioned power plants to be reused in similar ways. These positive factors all contributed to the UKEA's decision-making, and in December 2020, West Burton was selected as the future home for the spherical tokamak for energy production. No, of course.
Commend the Honourable Lady for bringing this forward, and in the spirit of looking forward and positivity as well. Does the Honourable Member aware that there are currently no power plants in Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland has banned all nuclear power generation since 1989? However, the UK and the US have announced a partnership to accelerate fusion energy, which the Honourable Lady has referred to. So does the Honourable Lady agree that more consideration needs to be given and must be given to extending nuclear facilities or capabilities to the rest of the United Kingdom to ensure that we can all are able to accelerate the fusion energy that the Honourable Lady is so very well promoting? Thank you.
Yeah, the focus has to be getting fusion working at West Burton, and should it be successful, then it has to be rolled out over the whole of the UK, and Northern Ireland has to be a key element of that, I'd say. So, the future, as I said, the public went further, calling for other decommissioned power plants to be used in similar ways. These positive factors all contributed to the UKEA's decision-making, and December 2020, West Burton was selected as the future home for tokamak for energy production. Known by the acronym of STEP, this is a government-funded industry partnership to develop the most advanced tokamak fusion reactor in the world. The outline business case for the STEP programme was approved in 2023, with a full business case to be submitted next year. In November, we will see the launch of the procurement process for whole plant partners, and these will be the major engineering construction partners who will get the project moving. The intention is to get formal approval for the next 4-year phase of development in March, when this passes the proposal onto the major projects review group and then onto the Chief Secretary. Fusion has been defined as last energy, the recreation of the energy generated by the sun and all other stars, where atomic nuclei collide together and release energy. The goal is to produce an inexhaustible source of low-carbon energy and heat, with the objective of supplying electricity into the national grid by the 2040s. We, as a government, need to be already thinking about our 2030 ambitions, with fusion taking us into the next and crucial phase of carbon-neutral energy production. It's not just my view. Industry experts say that this is the solution to meeting the growing long-term global clean energy demands, and it holds the potential to be the baseload energy source. The key is that it will be developed by UK industries and then distributed across the world. I welcome our mission to rebuild wealth through investing in great British energy that's been kicked off across the country. This is game-changing, rebuilding our economy and creating wealth through investment into carbon-neutral energy production. But we also need to be thinking about where these ambitions need to take us. The development of fusion power plants will see the creation of new technologies and an energy capacity that will go further than energy generation, including the production of superconducting magnets, hydrogen, and a new generation of medical advances for cancer treatment. We are now the world leaders in the development of fusion, and the race is on, with the US and China rapidly developing competing technologies and key supply chain industries. Can the Minister confirm today that it is this government's intention to ensure that it is the UK and British industry that leads the world on fusion? Our future industrial prospects, job creation and wealth generation mean we cannot afford to take our eye off the ball and come in second, third or fourth. Our fusion ambitions cannot be put on the back burner for an undetermined future government agenda. Fusion power offers the prospect of an almost inexhaustible source of energy for future generations, and we have a responsibility to pursue that agenda today and not tomorrow. It's no use being today's world leader in fusion if the skills gap widens over the next decade and the best and brightest young minds head to other countries to develop fusion, or if we as a government dither and prevaricate about making this investment now. We need to encourage our pupils, students and those already in work to choose a career in fusion and to do so in the UK. We need government, the fusion sector, its supply chain and academia to work together to understand the skills and disciplines needed in fusion and to communicate the opportunities. I want to see laboratory technicians and researchers, the best brains from across the country and across the world in our UK labs, and for government to make fusion a #1 priority, but to attract the best global talent. Of course.
Thank you. As the chair of the all-party parliamentary group on fusion energy, you know what I think about this particular topic. I just wanted to highlight the fusion cluster, 200 businesses now, that you have visited yourself at Culham. Do you agree with me that it's a fantastic site and ministers should be joining us on a visit to that location?
I very much agree. I know Minister McCarthy has already been. I'd love it for you to go. What we have at Culham, I want to see reproduced at West Burton. It's the first step, and it actually gives you the vision of what could come next. And as I was saying, we founded the first industrial revolution, and it's our red wall areas that led the way. History is now repeating itself. So my ask today is, do we have the confidence to lead the world on this? Do we have the laser focus to make this happen now? Will we have the vision to create the Silicon Valley of green energy in Nottinghamshire? And whilst I know the Minister cannot prejudice the outcome of the spending review, will we get the finance from government to make this whole thing viable? Leaders lead from the front. We have the opportunity, we have the lead. Do we have what it takes to win the gold medal? We need a coherent training programme and strategy for fusion skills, a strategic foundation established for UK sector leadership in the decades to come. And as the new MP for Bassetlaw, I already have a legacy plan for my constituency. I want to see my young people to find routes into fusion, either through the supply chains, the development of new technologies, or leading the world at the West Burton plant itself. I want to see this unique opportunity to change life outcomes for future generations in Bassetlaw. I want them to be enabled to take all the advantages through fusion becoming part of the school curriculum and going on so that they can enter the field via vocational or academic training. I want my local businesses to have the opportunity to change their production techniques and provision, and they must become key elements of the supply chain. In terms of immediate infrastructure asks, we need commitments for a railway station on site and local road improvements so that we can begin to unlock the full potential of West Burton. My ambitions are also shared with our County Council and by our new Mayor for the East Midlands, Claire Ward, who sees the potential for the future. A shared vision to create a Trent Clean Energy supercluster, the West Burton site aligning with 3 other decommissioned coal-fired power station sites to become the heart of carbon-neutral energy production on a regional scale, with hydrogen, SMRs, solar and wind, with 6,000 new construction jobs, 15,500 operation jobs and the net GVA gain of £930 million. The opportunities are cross-regional, stretching into Lincolnshire, Yorkshire and nationwide. I look forward to continued support and commitment of government stepping up, becoming the international leaders for fusion and ensuring that fusion is integral to our great British energy ambitions. May I invite the Minister to visit Bassetlaw to see the groundbreaking opportunities and to cut the ribbon at our new Fusion Cafe, built by the UKAEA with a precise intent to inform and attract our young and inquisitive minds for the big challenges ahead. I am working in partnership with my community, my council, our elected mayor, the UKAEA, my neighbouring MPs, local businesses, the fusion industry, international partners and the government to deliver a step to ensure we have the clean energy superpower of the future. We will lead the world in the development of fusion.
Has considered the future of fusion energy. Minister.
Thank you, Mr Pritchard, and it's a pleasure to serve in this debate with you in the chair. And can I thank my honourable friend, the member for Bassetlaw, for securing this important debate today, and also genuinely for the passionate way she speaks both about this issue but also about her constituency, which was really genuinely inspiring, and particularly how you speak not just about the future in your community but also about the heritage. I confess I didn't know the role that your constituency played in the creation of the United States, but as I used to say to my school pupils, every day is a school day, so thank you for that. And to my honourable friend, the member for Rushcliffe, the chair of the APPG, it would really have been quite a striking debate if he had said anything other than what he said about his support for fusion. But I welcome the invitation to join on the visit, although I would say to my honourable friend, the member for Bassetlaw, that I think there are other ministers in the department who might be slightly frustrated if I cut the ribbon rather than them, but I'm very happy to do so all the same. And I start just by saying that I share my honourable friend's genuine excitement for this technology. And I think it's worth just taking a moment to think about what we're talking about here. The idea that we could produce an almost inexhaustible supply of low-carbon baseload sounds almost too good to be true, particularly, I have to say, as an energy minister trying to get us to where we're going to in 2030. It sounds like a fantastic proposition. But after many, many years of a lot of hard work, it is in fact within our grasp. Fusion creates nearly 4 million times more energy for every kilogram of fuel than burning coal, oil or gas. Some of these statistics I think are staggering and worth just taking a moment to reflect on. It has huge potential to bolster our energy security and to create thousands of good jobs at the same time, putting it at the heart not just of one of the Prime Minister's key missions in government, but two, kick-starting economic growth and making Britain a clean energy superpower. But what's even more exciting about this is that we in this country genuinely have an opportunity now to lead the world on this, to become the global home of fusion energy, with all the considerable short and long-term economic gains that come with it. And I want to thank honourable members for being here today, but also, I think, for the support for this new technology. It is difficult at times with a technology that perhaps isn't so well understood and that is in that nascent stage to keep the debate on them. And I think it's important we have more contributions and speeches like the one we heard around the importance of this technology. For more than 40 years, the UK has been at the forefront of fusion energy research and development, going back to June 1983. I won't tell honourable members at what age I was at that point. I wasn't quite born in 1983, but that's back to where we started in some of this, in a quiet corner of Oxfordshire, with the world's largest operational fusion reactor. The joint European Torus went back to break records and then break them again, with thousands of experts from across Europe playing their part in these experiments. JET closed its doors last year, and we're now focused on building a whole new generation of fusion facilities here in the UK. Domestically, the economic opportunities of fusion are huge. The sector already supports thousands of jobs, and our ambitions will see it deliver many more highly skilled roles in the future. And as my honourable friend outlined in her speech, it can also lead to breakthroughs in other areas as well, particularly in medicine, supercomputing and in other green technologies, which is why it's so important we attract the private sector investment to this project. $7 billion has already been raised by global private fusion companies, and this figure is growing year on year. It's clear that the UK's pro-innovation, proportionate approach to fusion regulation is attracting global interest, but we want to go further, developing a national policy statement for fusion facilities that provides even greater certainty, encouraging billions more in private investment, driving further growth and supporting thousands more jobs. And we're also investing in unique fusion research facilities at UK AEA sites across the country that UK-based firms can access, making it the natural home for fusion development. Internationally, fusion energy could be transformational, both as a long-term solution to energy security, but also, in this most decisive of decades, to tackling the climate crisis. This is low-carbon, safe and abundant as a source of energy that doesn't require huge amounts of land or natural resources to produce it, which makes it the perfect power source for nations to rely on instead of imported fossil fuels, but who don't necessarily have the capacity to deploy renewables at the kind of scale that many will need, but also those same countries that are likely to be the most affected by climate change. In other words, as global energy demand grows, and we know that it will grow considerably in the decades ahead, fusion energy could be critical to keeping net zero within reach, as well as ensuring that citizens everywhere have access to power. Other major economies, including the US and China, have realised there are huge prizes on offer to be the first to commercialise this technology, including economic growth and global environmental leadership. And estimates of that fusion energy market by between 2050 and 2100 put it between 3 and 12 trillion. Without the spending power of the US or China, we must be targeted in how we maintain our leadership in this ever closer international competition. And this is where, as my honourable friend outlined, the STEP programme comes in. Last month, I was privileged to be at Ratcliffe-on-Soar, and it might seem odd for a minister to be privileged to be at the closure of something, but it was a real moment in our energy story, the closure of our last coal-fired power station, and a moment for us to recognise that the transition is well underway. Now we're bringing a whole new industry to that part of the world with the creation of the world's first civil fusion power plant. The prototype plant is aiming for completion by 2040, and in doing so will demonstrate that this can be a viable part of our energy mix in the near future. And as my honourable friend is aware, this is a hugely exciting opportunity for local people in her constituency, but for the wider region as well, and for the whole of the UK, delivering thousands of jobs directly and in the supply chain. And she rightly referenced the importance of skills development in this space as well, and there is a real opportunity here to develop the skills of a next generation of young people working in the energy of the future. STEP will partner with private industry early on in its journey, working closely with engineering and construction companies. Likely to identify these partners, the work is underway at the moment, with an announcement of the shortlisted bidders due to come in the following weeks. This is not only about maximising our chances of success, but by utilising the local skills that are already in my honourable friend's community to breathe new life into an industrial heartland. And at the same time, we will establish a strong fusion skills base and domestic supply chain to support STEP and to enable it to compete globally. We're also running an outreach programme to schools in the area to encourage the uptake of fusion-related education, as well as developing relationships and grants with universities. We want fusion to be a sector that excites and inspires young people, and we have a really important moment now to unlock that potential. This is a first-of-a-kind programme, and there will, of course, be challenges. My honourable friend in her speech mentioned a number of those logistical challenges in the local area, and these are things that we will work through together with the local community, where I know for many years she was involved in the local council as well. But we do have a huge advantage: 4 decades of research and a thriving financial landscape and a world-leading plan, which means that even before a commercially viable plant is delivered, the programme will have already supported thousands of jobs, skill development and cutting-edge research. Ultimately, whether STEP or a different design turns out to be the precise one used to commercialise this technology, its development will already ensure that the UK has a supply chain to provide the jobs and the recognition that we are in the lead in this technology. The government is unashamedly pro-growth, pro-business and pro-innovation, and fusion is a great example of all three. It is such an important part of our plans because it covers all of these points, but is also a real opportunity for us to make progress and become the global lead in a genuinely transformative technology, something which could ensure our energy security, drive huge growth and combat climate change here and far beyond our shores. STEP could, in short, be the UK's Apollo moment, and I can't wait to see where the fusion journey takes us. And I think, in conclusion, Mr Pritchard, with representatives of the community like my honourable friend, we genuinely have someone passionate and enthusiastic and driving forward this technology, and it is in safe hands. And I want to pay tribute to that commitment, both in her championing this technology and in her wider community. And together, I think we can make this one of the most exciting moments in our energy story. Thank you.
The question is that this House has considered the future of fusion energy. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye. On the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Order. Order. I'll suspend the sitting for 7 minutes till the next debate.